My dad was my hero. He was a Marine Corps officer, tested by combat, in great shape, tough, talented criminal defense lawyer, an advocate for the underdog. And he died of lung cancer 50 years ago this month, and I was with him. I was 14. About a month before he died, he had to go back in the hospital. His bag was packed. He was sitting on the side of the bed, and he tried to take off his ring and give it to me. I didn't want to take it. He was trying to say goodbye. We both cried and held each other so tightly that I could taste his tears. I didn't want to let go. And something I thought about when I was preparing this talk, I bet he could taste mine too. Have you ever held someone that close? I hope you have the chance one day. Do you have any soul friends? In his native language, Irish poet-philosopher John O'Donohue describes a soul friendship, or anamcara, as a connection that transcends merit or accomplishment. I talked a bit about this right here, like literally right here, a couple of weeks ago in my commencement talk to the graduating students at Drury. Today will be similar but different. This one is just for you. About a year after my dad died, Dee Wampler, a lawyer who knew him from when my dad hired him as an assistant prosecutor, checked in to see how I was doing. They weren't close friends or anything, but it was a really nice gesture. I'd only met him once. He asked how my high school debate at Glendale was going and suggested that I come by the office sometime. I did, and he gave me a job mowing lawns at his rental houses. And then at 16, I started working in his law office, researching cases, locating and interviewing witnesses. He helped me become a congressional house page. He visited me in college. He encouraged me to take a job at the U.S. Embassy in Thailand after my freshman year. He wrote me letters when I was in school in Japan for a year. He took me to Las Vegas when I turned 21. He taught me how to play craps. He took me to see Frank Sinatra. And when I didn't get into law school, actually, when I didn't get into 11 law schools, because my combined GPA LSAT scores were bad, really, really bad, Dee kept thinking of schools that might take me. And he even sent me brochures from Oral Roberts University. Little known fact, they had a law school for about 7 years. And when I was in law school, he would sometimes just send Karen and I money for no reason. After graduating, I went to work for a big firm in Dallas for a few years, and he referred me my first real criminal case. It was a street preacher charged with obstructing a sidewalk in Dallas. I moved back to Springfield to focus on my passion of defending the most serious criminal cases in the courtroom. I rented office space from him, he kept referring cases to me, and then I started a chocolate factory. But the point is, when I was down and a heartbroken teenager, he lifted me up, not once, but many times. We didn't agree on much of anything politically, but he was my soul friend for most of my formative professional life. Decades. How many people do you know who lift someone up like that and never stop? It's uncommon, and it's real. And here's the thing. It wasn't a LinkedIn endorsement. It wasn't a praying hands emoji. It was a real person showing up for another real person. And that kind of soul friendship doesn't scale. It doesn't post well. But it's the kind of connection that changes lives. I didn't do anything to earn this. Dee died a few years ago, and I wasn't going to talk about any of this stuff about Dee. I've never talked about it publicly before, but I had a dream about him last week, and so I decided to spend the time to tell you what Dee did for me. So, here's my question for us. Do we have the eyes to see someone who needs us? Can we reach out, not for a reason, not because it's strategic, but because it's the right thing to do? And an even harder question: if you're the one brokenhearted and on your knees, can you receive that kind of grace? Can you accept help knowing that you didn't earn it? Can you simply be present enough to receive it? This is what I've come to believe business is really about: not scale or optics or growth curves, but kinship, mutuality, and presence. It's the quiet stuff that never gets posted, but will also never be forgotten. For the most part, your connections on LinkedIn are not going to help you. I mean, really help you. We've been conditioned to believe that more contacts, more followers, more likes, more retweets equals a greater likelihood of getting what we want. I've been using AI daily since it was released 2.5 years ago. We were talking about it at our table just here. I use it for everything from custom coloring book pages for my grandchildren, Goldie and Cardinal, to complex international legal matters. As the AI tsunami, that's my best Parker Posey impression from White Lotus, as the AI tsunami barrels in on us and more of our life shifts to gaming, social media, VR, and simulation, the deeper risk isn't just job loss. It's that we begin to lose community, our ability to truly connect, and most of all, ourselves. In the coming decade, Sam Altman, the founder of OpenAI, predicts there will be a premium on in-person experiences. Now, what he means is over-the-top experiences like having dinner at a Michelin star restaurant in Paris that took you a year to get into. But I think it's more basic than that. I think it's in-person experiences like connecting with a great friend while taking a hike or meeting a friend for coffee who really sees you. That's why connection, ordinary, unmarketable, unscalable connection, will be a new premium. Our employees want to know that they matter. Our customers want to feel seen. Our neighbors want to feel known. This doesn't take a campaign. It takes presence. A little moniker that we've been saying at our factory for about a decade is, it's not about the chocolate, it's about the chocolate. And that might sound confusing at first, but it's really not. Last summer, we graduated our 10,000th young person from our after-school life skills program in remote Tanzania. And we've been taking Southwest Missouri high school students to meet cocoa farmers there since 2010 in a business immersion program called Chocolate University, a nonprofit run by Missy Gellner that we started years ago, and that would have never happened without Brian Fogel's help at the Community Foundation, by the way. It doesn't have anything to do with chocolate, but on the other hand, it has everything to do with chocolate. Poet-philosopher Khalil Gibran said, "If you bake a bread with indifference, you bake a bitter bread that feeds but half man's hunger." Who we are and what we make, or the service we provide, are inseparable. Try as we might to divide those, we can't. A Springfield high school student on our last trip to Tanzania was sitting in our daily debrief session at the hotel in remote rural Africa. This is where we unpack the sights, sounds, smells, foods, and feelings from the day. And when it was her turn, with tears running down her face, she said, "The farmers in the village have been so kind and welcoming to me. What did I do to deserve this hospitality? I've never experienced this before." I gently brought up that she did nothing to deserve it, that she was present and received it, and she let it just roll over her. A little secret: that realization that happens with our students is the best part of my job. And sometimes we see that truth reflected not in ourselves, but in others. Sometimes we need someone to hold up a mirror to help us remember that of the value of our work, that it's sacred and that it matters. The discipline and practice of real connection, not more Insta followers, is what will save us in the coming years. My daughter, Lauren, who works with me in the chocolate business, and her husband live in Austin, and we split our time between here and there. My granddaughter, Goldie Bell, is almost 5 years old now. I'm not really that great at anything, but I am a pretty good grandpa. I had the kindest, sweetest, hardest working grandma and grandpa anyone could ever hope for. They were farmers in Lawrence County and my role models to this day. But when Goldie was about 1, she was having real trouble sleeping, and I wanted to give her mom and dad a break. They were exhausted. So we traded houses for a couple of nights. Her nursery, mind you, is a tactical sleep bunker. Blackout curtains, a Hatch sound machine, a sleep schedule that would rival a NASA launch. I learned new phrases that we didn't have in the 90s, like wake window, sleep pressure, and sleep signals. Anyway, the point is it's pitch black in there and it wasn't working, and I have to say thank you, God, for inventing glow-in-the-dark pacifiers. I remember rocking her one of those nights. It's about 2 a.m. I'm so tired. I'm singing to her, more like chanting because I'm not very good. The Lord's Prayer, Hail Mary, all of it in my own one note. Tears are running down my face. Not tears of frustration, but tears of gratitude. And I said, what did I ever do in all of my life to deserve this? Nothing. I didn't do anything to deserve it. I was just me, right there. I'm in the Philippines every year sourcing cocoa beans, and I've known our farmers there for 17 years. And as you might imagine, I talk about Goldie and Cardinal. Cardinal's my 14-month-old grandson. I talk about him all the time. And one of our nutrition program teacher sponsors knew that my grandpa name is Ta, T-A, Ta. And she told me that in the Ilongot indigenous dialect, that word Ta means the one who is loved. At this stage of my life, I find myself becoming increasingly uncertain about what I know. These days, my certainty tank is on E, and that's just fine. It's better than fine. One thing, maybe the only thing that I know, that I really know, is that I am Ta. I'm the one who's loved. Regardless of the fact that we are on the precipice of AGI and superintelligence, these technologies will never be able to do what I'm talking about. But we will think that they can if we aren't vigilant. Learn the tools and use the tech, but we must face the loss of community, humanity, and soul friendships if we let simulated experience convince us that it's real, because it isn't. With D, he lifted me up. I was received. With Goldie, I rocked her in the dark, and I received. With our Springfield student in Tanzania, I witnessed someone learning to receive. I've come to agree with Paul Simon, who famously sang, I have reason to believe that we will be received in Graceland. Graceland is now. It's not in the future. We're in it. It's here. Thank you.